Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's main event, the Eating Leather Podcast, sanctioned by the Sports Narrative Network. Let's meet the combatants. In this corner, weighing in at a svelte 300 pounds, Brian, the paper champ, Henning. And in this corner, weighing in at 195 pounds, your host and cruiserweight champion of the world, Dynamite, Darren Boyd.
Welcome to the Eating Leather Podcast. We're making our triumphant return, and we are pleased to be joined by the official prospect of the show. We had technical difficulties last time, so we only got half the interview, but he is kind enough to join us again. The one, the only, the 3-0, undefeated with 2 KOs, Gio Marquez.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's happening, Gio? This is your producer.
Thanks
Jeff
for having me on here.
Yeah, man. Nice win to start things off. You got the win this last week, 3-0. Nice knockout there for you. Does it still feel like when you come to the ring, they give you the big announcement, they're saying your name, the whole thing? Obviously, it's in front of the hometown crowd once again down in Houston. Does it still give you the goosebumps? Do you still get jacked up for this? Like, is it starting to become old hat, or is it still like, man, I can't believe this is happening?
I definitely feel like, in a good way, I'm getting used to it. And so I just feel real comfortable with all the hype, all the build up, the crazy crowd. And, in my last fight, I just felt really comfortable, really calm, and I was able to perform really well. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, you have an amazing poise about you at your age, and your third professional fight. I was very impressed with the combinations, and we plan to make a road trip down there to see you, hopefully in the spring of 2023 from Dallas to Houston. So we're excited. Now, what is the transition like from going from an amateur to a professional been for you?
It's been going good. I'm barely in my third fight, and I feel I'm already pretty much into my pro style, just looking to make, of course, more improvements. But in my first fight, I still felt like, watching the tape, I still felt I did a lot of amateurish-like things. And then in my second fight, I feel I improved from my first fight. And then from my second fight to my third fight, I feel like I continued to improve and just, doing what a pro should do, just stay relaxed, sitting down on shots, working the jab, putting combinations together and things like that.
Now, do you have any plans to fight again the rest of the year? It's August 16th.
Yeah, definitely want to, maybe get in 2 more fights, maybe one in September.
Nice.
And, yeah, definitely want to stay active.
Man, you've been pounding out these fights, man. It's once every 3 months. You're putting up a pace that not a lot of guys do, man. I respect the crap out of that, and obviously you knock guys out in the second round. I guess that's pretty good. You faced a southpaw this time. How was that a little bit different? And obviously probably back in the Golden Gloves days you had a few of those, but how did that feel a little different?
I never really struggled with southpaws too much. I've always had, like, here in Houston, we have lots of guys to spar, and I had a lot of southpaw sparring in preparation for this fight. I fought a lot of southpaws in the amateur, so it wasn't nothing that I hadn't seen before. I feel comfortable fighting southpaws.
Nice.
So the punching angles and tasting the jab from the right hand did not obviously affect you whatsoever.
No, it definitely is different, but I'm kind of used to it in a way, having sparred so many southpaws.
Yeah, that's good. And no headbutts in there. I know that's always part of it. Those two guys, those heads kind of clang together. You didn't have any of that, right?
Actually, there was one minor headbutt, but it wasn't too bad.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, we were texting Sunday morning, and you're already back in the gym after knocking your opponent out Saturday night, and you're like, I'm already back at work. That's so impressive. how do you stay humble at age 21 and on the trajectory that you're headed towards of superstardom?
I would just say, like I'm not where I want to be at, so there's not much, celebrating to do. Not much, right now. I feel like it's just all work and just focus on the mission and task, and later down the line, people celebrate and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now,
Go ahead,
obviously, your dad is a legend, and we saw with T. Lopez the other day, his dad's jumping on the camera and trying to steal a spotlight. And your dad's a very humble individual too. He raised you well, and he obviously works your corner. What kind of advice is he giving you in between rounds?
He was telling me to throw my jab. Like the jab was one of the key things in this fight because the guy was a mover. So to cut the distance, I had to work behind the jab rather than just going in there. So he's telling me to work the jab and to hit the body. Of course, he's always telling me to stay sharp on the defense and, not to get caught with any wild shots. And he was telling me also not to load up and to, put my punches together.
That's something we've seen out of so many young boxers of not being able to do that very thing. You see, some of these young guys that are coming up that they don't quite put the combinations together. They kind of they fall in love with throwing that big right hand and knocking a guy out or whatever. And it's those combinations is what I think really will separate you. We saw that with a guy like Edgar Berlanga, who we really liked on this show, but man, he's just never been able to put it together with the activity, with all of those things. You saw with Teofimo in this last weekend too, is fighting the same weekend you were, and it's almost there, and like you obviously he's got that showboat factor and all of that, but it's almost there. But then you just start going, oh man, you keep that left hand down, you are gonna get popped one of these days.
Yeah.
It's and as you come up, it's building those good habits, and obviously you got a pretty good guy in your corner to build some habits there. But what would you say right now is that one thing that you're like, oh man, I gotta remember to do that one thing that's nagging at you right now?
I used my jab in the fight, but I would like to have used it more. Instead of throwing 2 jabs, I could throw 3, 4. You could never overuse the jab, and that's something my dad stresses to me. Sometimes I just want to throw 1 jab, 2 jabs, but why not throw 3 or 4?
Absolutely, yeah. You get that double jab, that left. You get that double up like that, man. That is killer for sure, Darren.
Yeah.
Double jab right hands will win 90% of fights.
Yeah.
Will the heavyweight titles come up? Are you have any interest in the Joshua Usyk rematch on Saturday?
Yeah, that'll definitely be a good fight. The first one was good. Second one, I'm pretty sure is going to be good too. I don't really know who I see winning in that fight, but I know it's going to be action packed for sure.
Well,
Josh was admitted he has a hard time with southpaws, and I was like, probably
Yeah.
don't want to admit that, number one, and number two, he could go the same way.
Well,
so that'll be exciting.
And Usyk throws from such crazy angles. That's something where those punches are coming out from all kinds of angles. So I think that's really fascinating too. Who else out there, Gio, do you like? Is a guy that you really like to watch fight, whether or not it's obviously in your weight class or whatever, but just guys out there, some of these young cats or even just some of the old guys that you just go, man, if that dude's fighting, I am there. I'm making dad buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Right now, I would say my favorite fighter is Jaron Ennis.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Boots.
Yeah, Boots. I like the way he switches stances. That's something that I do myself. And I watch his fights a lot, and I think he's a great fighter, action-packed fighter, and I study him a lot.
Now, a friend of our show, Victor, huge boxing guy, wants to know, as you progress in age, what weight class do you think you'll settle in at? Like 160, 168? I know it's projecting the future, and it's not fun to talk about, but he was just curious.
Right now, I'm fighting at like 143, 144. The hope is to at 140. The reason we're fighting at this weights is because finding opponents sometimes get them to get down to 140 and things like that. So we'll just take fights at like 144 and whatnot. But once I get up there and like 10-0, once it's time to fight for a title or something like that, I want to fight at 140 and then of course later on move up to 47, maybe even 54.
Now, how comfortable are you at that weight? Do you have to obviously seeing you in the ring, you have no body fat, but do you have to cut any weight to really get down to that and drain yourself or anything? Or are you pretty comfortable?
I'm actually very comfortable at this weight, so that's why I feel when I get to fighting at 140, I'm not gonna have any problems. So yeah, definitely very comfortable at this weight, not draining myself, starving myself, anything like that.
And of course,
Excellent.
going up in the weight classes, it's always the question of does the power transfer? And obviously, you're showing the power at this weight class. I mean, you're stopping fights against some of these guys very quickly, and that's a thing I think. Is it something where you feel like you want to go more rounds? You want to put up a few more rounds and get some guys with a better chin that you're not necessarily going to be able to knock them out and actually have to box the whole time.
Yeah, that is something I definitely want in the near future. Someone to give me some more rounds so I could, that's the only way I'm gonna grow and learn. So that's definitely what I want. Someone more durable, someone that could last and give me some rounds so I could, continue to learn, continue to develop, and just grow as a fighter.
And
when do you think you would go from a 4-round to a 6-round or maybe 8-round fight?
Me and my dad, we want to go to 6 rounds already.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like me as a fighter, I feel I get better as the rounds go. So 6 rounds is a lot better for me than 4. 4 is only one more round amateur, so it's still kind of quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 rounds will allow you to continue to, like you said, ease your way into it and feel things out and find some durable guys. So that's exciting already. You're after your 3rd professional fight.
So
yes,
who's next up on the docket for you? You're gonna stay fighting some of those guys down there in Houston? You're gonna stay in that same venue? Or are you ready to get your suitcase out and travel a little?
I'm ready for whatever opportunities present themselves. We're actually pretty blessed to, have a good connection with these local promoters here in Houston. So, right now they're keeping me active. My dad's keeping me active, fighting on these local cards. I'm sure maybe sooner or later I may sign with the promoter. So when that happens, I'll probably start traveling more and, getting out there more. But for now, I'm going to just, keep beating whoever they put in front of me and just focus on getting better as a fighter and progressing.
And I mean that Houston boxing scene is growing fast. You got a lot of going on down there. But let's project in the future a little bit, Gio. Let's talk about you've seen some of these these big fights where you've got like all the Puerto Rican guys are getting together in Madison Square Garden and they're putting together these kind of young guy fights, but it's letting them all kind of have that feel and obviously in a bigger venue. It's time, like we're 10 fights down the road, you're still undefeated, you've worked your way up to now 10-round matches and you want to do a fight. Where do you want that first big fight to be?
Of course, the Mecca of boxing, Las Vegas. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But my dream venue and location is to fight at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. That's my dream place to fight.
Yes, sir. By the way, repping the Houston tonight for you there.
Yes, so, that is very nice.
Little Houston Gamblers, Jim Kelly.
I don't know if he's going to get the Houston Gamblers reference, but it is a great T-shirt.
Well, they're coming back, so it's okay. It's the USFL. They're coming back now. But yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you get that venue down there. You get some of those Texas guys down there, man. I think that would be awesome. And then, of course, if you came up our way, we're up here in Dallas. If you got to fight at Jerry World, I'm sure that wouldn't be too bad either, huh?
Oh no, not at all. I've had the privilege to go out to the AT&T Stadium. It's a beautiful stadium, and even I went to a fight in at the Star in Frisco.
Oh yes,
yes. Also cool place.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, that's right down the road from us here.
Yep.
Darren?
Like I said, if we don't broadcast the NFL draft in Kansas City, we're definitely talking about coming down to see you in Houston because there's nothing better in live boxing than and support the official prospect of the Eating Leather podcast. It would be amazing. Get to meet you and see your dad and the family and stuff would be phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. We bring out a pretty nice crowd out here, and my fights are action packed, and it would definitely be worth coming out here for sure. I can
Oh,
guarantee
we'll
you
make it
that.
happen.
Yeah.
Now, at what point in a fight? So you obviously you've wandered into a few of these now, and back in the Golden Gloves days, you come out, obviously that initial, you've got kind of your initial battle strategy, whatever it's going to be, right? And then you start feeling a little bit of those few punches he throws and what you throw. At what point does that become something where you say, this guy can't hurt me, and you start to let it loose a little bit? Or is that just something where you want to stick to your guns? Or if you start just trying to let it fly, is your dad going to yell at you?
I definitely like to take my time that first round, establish my jab, and then usually towards the end of the first round, I start seeing the guy's body language. He's not reacting well to the punches. He's starting to grunt and things like that. And
Yeah.
by the second round, it's just a matter of time.
That's awesome. And
Love it.
and that's that's one of the other things that Darren, every time you and I watch a fight together and we're texting back and forth, we're always saying, go to the body. Oh my gosh, wear this guy down, especially as those fights get longer and longer. That was one of the things about in that Teofimo fight, which I don't know if you got to see, but um, he wasn't working the body at all, and we were a little bit worried he was going to run out of gas because he had such a short training schedule. Of course, then he's Teofimo and he just finishes the guy. But
Yeah.
but you just worry a little bit about that, like those fundamentals, man. When the bullets are live, it's real easy to lose all of that. What helps you? What helps keep that in your head? As you're obviously dodging punches too.
Yeah, working. My dad, he tells me not just to work the body, but also work the arm. So wherever you can hit the guy, you got to hit him. And that's something he really stresses is, hit the arms. If a guy has a high guard, if you hit the arms, his hands are gonna eventually come down. So it's all a game plan. Work the
Wow,
body, work the arms, work the head, everything.
that's a good strategy, man. I've never really thought about that before. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Darren,
Kill the body and the head will die.
yeah.
Old boxing mantra.
have you had any conditioning things? Like, has there been any fights? I mean, I know you haven't fought just a whole lot of rounds yet, but have there been any rounds where you start feeling like a little bit winded, or you start saying, "Man, I need to do a little bit more conditioning," or anything like that yet?
Not yet, fortunately, and I credit that to the track workout that I do. We do hard track workouts. That's great for conditioning, and also I do a lot of swimming too. So my conditioning
Oh,
is always
nice.
on point. Yeah, I make sure to train hard so that I don't get tired in the fight. Because if you get tired in the fight, it's not a good thing.
No, that is definitely that's a good way
Now,
to
how
lose.
many miles a week are you running?
Uh, Between 3 and 5, and then on the weekends is when I do like my high intensity track workout, which really helps with the conditioning.
A lot of burst
Is
training,
that
that kind
is
of
that
thing.
like a short
Yeah,
burst?
Yeah,
Oh, Mr. Bauer's
yeah,
already read my mind.
exactly. We're on the same
yeah,
page there.
yeah,
Where are you
definitely.
running? Are you running like University of Houston? Where are you hitting the track here?
Just here at near where I live, just like a local middle school, they have a track.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
Y-
that's
Yeah,
pretty cool, dude. Those little middle school kids, man, are gonna walk and say like, man, the future champ ran on my
yeah,
track. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty awesome.
yeah.
You get people stop you, get autographs yet? Has that happened yet?
It's happened a few times. Yeah, caught
I,
me off guard, but yeah,
okay,
That's got to be exciting.
have you practiced
yeah.
the autograph yet? Have you got it down, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got it down for
Oh, that's cool.
sure.
You don't have like a Sharpie in your pocket all the time, just ready to like, hey man, hey, ready?
No.
You want an autograph? Anybody? No? Okay.
He's got photos with him in his gloves, and he's already
Yeah, he's got
pre-signed, and
headshots
just
just
hands
right
them
there in
out.
the back
Hey, here's
pocket,
the
just ready to go.
photo.
Hey man, it's 2022. It's all about self promotion at this point. And like you said,
Right,
we know you
right,
got
right.
the Twitter profile there, Gio Marquez 36. We got up there on the screen for you. Anything else you want to promote? Anything else that you're posting? Are you doing TikToks or Instagram or anything like that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. My username is Giovanni.Marquez.
Oh, nice. Well,
Yeah, yes,
that's pretty
sir.
good. You got there first. That's good.
Yes, sir.
All right, I asked you this last time. We got a nickname yet? Has anything come up? You nothing?
Yeah, no nickname. We're still working on it.
All right. I
I don't
mean,
know yet.
it'll happen naturally, right? One day you'll be
Yeah, yeah,
Trackman or
Organically,
something.
yes. Well, your
yeah.
official nickname is the official prospect of the Eating Leather podcast until the nickname comes.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
That's awesome.
Well, we can't thank you enough for jumping on, sir. You're amazing and humble, and it's a pleasure to communicate with you every chance I get. And we have much interest in your career going forward, and you are awesome.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah, man. And like I said, we'll get you on here before the next fight. And good luck there. You know, and like I said, keep the training up. And man, like I said, I think the sky's the limit for you. And there's no
Amen.
doubt there's going to be some gold hanging around your belt very soon.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
All right, brother. Be well.
All right.
All right. There he goes.
Future champ.
Man.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna. I have no idea how to end that without.
No.
It's okay.
This is after hours content on the Eating Leather podcast.
No, we're good. We're good.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Hey, man. Thanks,
Appreciate
brother.
you, sir.
We'll
talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, there we go. Excellent. All right.
Are we still rolling?
Yep. Gio's gone. It's just me and you now, buddy.
All right. Well, let's talk a little breakdown of Joshua Usyk on Saturday. How do you see the fight going?
DAZN, dude, you know how I feel about Joshua. Now, do I think he's going to take it as lightly as he did last time? Absolutely not. The other thing about Usyk is, dude, the guy's kind of been busy, with a
Prayers
war
to Ukraine.
Yeah.
We got a little stuff going on.
You wonder how much training he's got. You wonder what his head's going to be at. He's either going to come out there and wreck this dude and, come out in the flag and the whole bit, or much like the Ukraine war right now, maybe it don't go just great. There's our political stuff for this particular show.
That's your thoughts or your own opinion, sir. I stay out of everything.
Well, there you have it. But dude, if Joshua's going to be anything, he's got to win this fight. He's got to prove that he can do more than look pretty as he walks into the ring. I think this is a make or break fight for that kind of guy.
That's the direction I was going to ask you. Is he's still young enough but he's kind of like, if he loses this fight, he's in boxing purgatory because he's never going to be a stepping stone type of fighter. But who's he going to go? There's no Fury fight for him if he loses this. There's no, maybe he could fight Wilder, Hellenius winner sometime, but I mean, he's pretty much in purgatory if he loses this fight. It's really strange, and I thought he was going to be a mega superstar.
He
and
becomes an also ran.
There's just something lacking. It's never panned out.
Exactly. He becomes an also ran at that point. He becomes just a guy that somebody fights in order to get to a championship fight, right? He becomes the warm-up for a guy who's actually a contender. And I think that's very key in all of that. The other thing I think is fascinating is the guy who wants up next is Dylan White. And he wants basically the winner or the loser, I think, in that. What do you think about that?
He brings the A game every time. That would be fun. Also,
maybe one of the better nicknames in boxing.
Excuse me, sorry about the cough.
I was just saying,
I need a cough button.
One of the better nicknames in boxing, the body snatcher, Dylan White. Love that.
Well, he stole that from Mike McCallum from back in the day, who was the body snatcher. My favorite body puncher next to Julio Cesar Chavez, but that's a whole other conversation for a different show.
So we just talked about Giovanni and his fight, and he was talking about fighting at 140. There's a lot of talk about Tio after his big fight there, coming up to 140. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, that would be years in the making, but that would be fun.
You think? I mean, they're saying that. Look.
Oh, Gio's got to get double-digit wins before, he's...
No, not Gio. Teofimo. fighting at 140. Teofimo Lopez. Sorry, yeah, I said Tio. Yeah,
Misunderstood the question. That's my fault. We were
Teofimo
kind of cutting out
Lopez.
for a second.
Yeah, Teofimo Lopez fighting at 140.
It's a rich division. A lot of fun fights to make, and unfortunately, I think when he steps up in competition, it's not going to end well for him.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. Is like we just talked about with Giovanni. That man, he's got that big power right now, but man, he steps up in competition. It's going to be different. He's going to have to really learn to box. Now, the guy can put on a clinic, and his combinations are just brutal. I mean, the left hand he delivered in that fight. Granted, against a guy the guy was tough, but the guy could take a punch, but he was just coming forward, just asking to get his butt kicked, and he did. So it worked out.
But like you said, he only trained for 2 weeks, and obviously he's got well documented outside of the ring issues. And is he one of those individuals that's able to keep it together from fight to fight? And that's going to be a question. And unfortunately, I think he's going to have to deal with.
And that's the thing about it. Like, we talked too about, and I'm glad. Thanks for stealing my question, by the way. But you bastard. But I wanted to talk about.
Well, you stole some of mine, so it's payback.
That's true. With Marquez about how like his dad is so in the background, right? Like he wants to be his own guy. Like we weren't even sure. We even talked about it before the show about whether or not we're even going to ask about that, right? And because he wants to be his own guy, and like that's amazing, of course. But at the same time, you've got these guys, Teofimo. I think Berlanga's dad's a little bit out front. Who's the other guy? Who's the other dad that's like way out front that was like doing the Showtime?
Garcia.
Yes.
Garcia's dead.
And
yes.
and you're just like, man, like these guys are living through their sons, and like, dude, I get it, but whoa, it was that's a whole lot, and that's one of the things that with Giovanni, man, he's got nothing but class at his with his dad, and his dad's gonna let him be his own dude, and I mean, dude, when you've worn the belt, you don't have to live through your son. Like, you kind of know how it is. So that's great.
Well, before we get out of here, I'd be remiss if we do mention Xander Zejas, who put on a clinic on Saturday night. One day he's going to lift the restraining order he has against me, and we'll get him on the show. But, wow, I mean, 19 years old and knocked out a guy who's never been knocked out, and just unbelievable. What were your thoughts of his
dude,
verge of being a mega superstar?
He just puts on a clinic, man. I mean, the kid is just a beast, and it's one of those where I mean, it doesn't look like the thing with Berlanga. It was such a freak show. And it was such a, just ending dudes. But when he started to actually get up into some decent boxers, and that's kind of what I was trying to refer to with Giovanni is that whole idea of, as you step up in class, man, you want to get rounds. Berlanga wasn't getting rounds, and then he finally got a guy who he had to fight, and it didn't turn out well. Dude, Xander is...
Yeah, he got rounds he didn't want.
Exactly.
Sure.
And so Xander is such a technician, though, that you think that, man, that's just going to translate and just keep going up. I have to say, the way that those punches are, the way that the flair is, I see a lot of Pacquiao in him, That's kind of that's kind of the vibe I'm starting to feel of, like, being able to power with both hands, being able to bring it, to end it, the combinations. Maybe, and the speed is there too, and that's the other thing is, if you're comparing anybody to Pacquiao with speed, like now we're in the elite stratosphere, and maybe that's blasphemy for some, but dude, I think he's got it.
I've got, I know it's an easy connection to make, but he's my next Tito.
That's good.
He's got the finishing, like you said, when he's got you hurt, he's gonna finish you. It's just, it's amazing to see at that age and the poise that he has, and like I said, one day he'll lift that restraining order he has against me, and we'll get him on the show. But
let's hope.
Well, he's the fifth fighter I've ever fallen in love with. I got a Hagler, Tommy Morrison, and Tito, and X is definitely right up there. And I'm sure Gio is going to make a appearance in my top 6 fighters I've fallen in love with, and that's saying a lot in 48 years.
Okay,
That's good company.
are we going to have Bud Crawford, Errol Spence in November? Is that going to happen?
I keep hearing it's close, and then nothing happens. So it needs to. And I was talking with our friend of the show, Victor, and the problem is Spence is the better draw. I mean, Crawford's pay-per-view numbers stink outside of Omaha, and I'm sorry to the paper champ, who is rejoining us, by the way,
That's good.
after
He's got to come
on
on here and
Sunday night
defend Bud
after
Crawford
a
and the
little
fact that,
hiatus because of his
yeah.
work schedule, and he's obviously loves Crawford, and we'll put together a bet on Spence versus Crawford. That'll be fun. But how do you view? Do you think that's going to happen, and how would you view that fight before we get on down the road?
Well, first of all, I think it would be an epic fight, and I mean, dude, when was the last time Crawford fought? Like, it's been a minute, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and he's no spring chicken. He's in his mid-30s. I mean, these guys, as Bob Arum says, they're letting us fight and marinate, and that's not good business. Get in there and handle it.
And that's what I worry about.
They should have already had a trilogy by now.
That's exactly right, and that's the thing I worry about with Crawford is he waiting too long, and obviously Spence has all the other things that are happening, between the missing weight and some of the other just minor issues that we won't mention
the
because
eye
we'd
injury,
like to talk to him at
car
some point.
issue, and stuff we won't talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So there's all that. I'm also reading a story here that Keith Thurman thinks that he's the backup in case one or both aren't able to come to a fight. That Keith Thurman thinks he's going to be that next one up, that if one side won't agree or whatever, he would step in. Now, I think Spence Thurman, dude, that's a great fight.
Yeah,
put that
that'd
on
be fun.
Put that on pay-per-view. Put that at Jerry World. Let's go. I'm for you.
We'll get some media credentials.
Thurman Crawford. Okay. I mean, we can put that on ESPN and we'll watch it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's and like you said, that's the problem.
Well, you might DVR it. I'll watch it, but
right.
You probably DVR it.
But that's the problem, right? Is that you haven't, like, Bud Crawford is not a household name, and that's what sucks about it, because he might be the best fighter in that class. We don't know. We hadn't seen him in forever.
Very valid point. And we will bombard the paper champ on Sunday with that salient question to see what he has to say.
Are we also going to have a very special guest, perhaps, maybe?
We've got a few guests lined up here in the next few days. We're excited to relaunch the Eating Leather podcast. And there might be a one Barry Tompkins. There might be a one Elf from 1310 The Ticket here in Dallas, talking a little local Dallas boxing.
By the way,
all that implies.
We're going to need to make these Sunday because my Saturday is now occupied. So I just discovered. So yeah, you know how that goes. All right,
absolutely.
Well, awesome. We will, like I said, if we can get the great Barry Tompkins on for a make good interview, I think that would be wonderful.
He's fired up.
Yeah, like I said, last time from beautiful Sausalito, California. This time apparently from Costa Rica, perhaps.
He's back. He's back in town. He got back
okay, great.
Yep, he's back in your beloved town of Sausalito.
Oh, so beautiful. If it wouldn't slide off into the ocean, I would live there in a moment. So, all right, well.
And you two have something in common as far as animals go, but we'll save that for the show.
Exactly. That is a great tease. And with that masterful Bon Mod, I think we are done. We'll get this episode posted up on the youtube.com/thesportsnarrative. I am your host, Jeff Bowers. That is me right there on Twitter @sportsnarrative. And, of course, the great Darren Boyd 13. Find him on Twitter for some good boxing discussion. And, of course, our special guest, the great, the future champ, Giovanni Marquez. Find him, Gio Marquez 36 on Twitter, or, of course, Giovanni.Marquez on Instagram. Follow his running around a middle school track and then one day hoisting the belt. So, for all of those people, for the paper champ, who we will get on here very soon, get him back in the fold, and after his slaving away days, and we will get back to rolling here. So, thank you, Mr. Boyd. Thank you, Giovanni. And without further ado, we will say good night to you all, and keep them up, and let's have a good, clean fight. Contact the show via Twitter @EatingLeatherPod, or find us at sportsnarrative.net, your home for sports talk greatness.